Level 1. The Intern Analyst. The office doesn't look like what you imagined. No situation room, no wall of screens, just rows of cubicles, cheap burnt coffee in the air, expensive watches glinting under fluorescent light. A supervisor places a stack of signal intercepts in your hands. Find the pattern. Nobody here cares about your GPA. They care about one thing. Can you read noise and find the signal inside it before someone dies because you didn't? You work 14-hour days. You eat at your desk. You read intercepts from networks operating in languages that most of your colleagues can't pronounce. You flag anomalies in communication patterns, shifts in frequency, changes in vocabulary, the specific silence that follows certain kinds of planning. You flag 17 anomalies in your first 3 months. 15 are noise. 1 is inconclusive. 1 becomes an operation you will never be told the outcome of. You are making $46,000 a year. You share an apartment with 2 roommates who think you work for a government contractor doing data processing. You do not correct them. At night, you lie awake thinking about the intercept you flagged at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Whether you read it right. Whether right is even the correct frame for what you do. You are learning that the most dangerous 4 words in counterterrorism are, I think it's nothing. Level 2. The Junior Analyst. You are promoted after 18 months. The title change is modest. The shift in what lands on your desk is huge. You're now assigned to a dedicated cell, a fictional unit designation, CTAG-7, Counterterrorism Analysis Group, focused on a specific network operating across 3 countries in North Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. You're no longer reading general intercepts. You're reading the same network every day, learning its rhythms the way you once learned a language. Not word by word, but through immersion until the patterns become instinct. You name the network's key nodes in your head, not their real names, their behavioral signatures. The one who goes silent before an operation. The one who uses religious language as operational code. The one who makes mistakes when he's afraid and stops making them when he isn't, which means his silence is more dangerous than his noise. You are building a picture of people you will never meet who are planning things you have to stop before they become real. Your first major flag leads to a disrupted cell in a European city. You are told this in a 3-line cable. No detail. No outcome beyond asset neutralized, threat contained. You spend a week wondering what neutralized means in this specific context. Then you stop wondering, because wondering is a luxury that the volume of incoming intercepts doesn't allow. Your salary is $58,000. You move into your own apartment. It has 1 bedroom and a window that faces a brick wall, and you spend most of your time there asleep or reading classified material on a laptop that is never connected to the internet. Your mother asks if you're seeing anyone. You tell her work has been busy. Work is always busy. That is the nature of a threat that does not observe weekends or federal holidays, or the particular exhaustion of a 25-year-old woman who has read 40 intercepts before noon. Level 3. The Analyst. 3 years in, you stop being surprised by what people are capable of. This is not cynicism. It is calibration, like a blade being aligned before it cuts. The surprised analyst is the dangerous analyst, the one who hesitates at the intercept that seems too extreme to be real, who discounts the signal because the implied action is too large to process quickly. You have trained yourself out of surprise the way a surgeon trains out of squeamishness, not by becoming cold, by becoming precise. You are assigned your first solo assessment, a 30-page threat evaluation on a network attempting to establish financing routes through Southeast Asian financial institutions. You work on it for 6 weeks. You source it across 11 intelligence streams. You write it in the particular language of analytical confidence levels: high confidence, moderate confidence, low confidence, insufficient data. The assessment lands on the desk of a deputy director you have never met. 3 weeks later, it influences a decision that redirects surveillance assets across 2 continents. You find out about this the way you find out about most things, obliquely, through a colleague who heard something in a hallway that she wasn't supposed to hear and passed it along in the particular informal economy of information that exists in every intelligence organization beneath its official architecture. Your work moved assets across 2 continents. Your name is not on the decision, it is not on anything. You are making $72,000. You buy a plant for your apartment. It dies within a month because you are never home long enough to water it. You go on 2 dates in this period. Both men ask what you do. Both times you say government work, data analysis, nothing interesting. Both times they believe you. You are becoming very good at being believed. Level 4, the senior analyst. The promotion to senior analyst comes with 3 things: a private office the size of a large closet, access to a compartmented intelligence stream you didn't previously have clearance for, and the first moment in 7 years where you understand how much you didn't know before. The compartmented stream changes everything. You have been reading the network's communications. Now you are reading the network's communications in the context of human intelligence, asset reporting, recruited sources, individuals inside the network who are feeding information to people like you through channels that cost those individuals everything if discovered. The intercepts stop being abstract. They become conversations between people with faces, people with families, people who are afraid in ways that are now visible to you in the subtext of their language. The overcorrection, the specific rhythm of someone performing normalcy under observation. You read a source report from an asset embedded in a network cell in the Horn of Africa. The asset's information is precise, detailed, operationally significant. The asset's handler notes in the margin, subject showing signs of elevated stress, recommend contact protocol review. 6 weeks later, the asset goes silent. The handler's next note is 2 words, asset compromised. You sit with those 2 words for a long time. Someone died so that a report could land on your desk. A report that became 1 data point among 40 in a weekly threat assessment that influenced a resource allocation decision 3 levels above you. You are making $98,000. You receive a commendation that goes in a file you are not allowed to show anyone. You frame nothing. There is nothing to frame. You cancel dinner with your sister for the 4th time in 3 months. She stops rescheduling. You tell yourself you'll call her when the current threat cycle stabilizes. The threat cycle does not stabilize. That is what a threat cycle is. Level 5, the lead analyst. You are given a team. 6 analysts, 2 linguists, 1 data scientist who speaks exclusively in probability distributions and whose assessments are always right in ways that are impossible to explain to anyone without a mathematics background. You are responsible for their work. Their mistakes are your mistakes, which means you are responsible for the specific weight of sending someone else's analysis up the chain and vouching for it with your name. The only currency in this building that is entirely your own. Your first team assessment flags a credible threat against a transportation hub in Western Europe. High confidence, corroborated across 4 streams. You send it up on a Thursday afternoon. The threat is acted on. The hub is secured. Nothing happens. Nothing happening is the best possible outcome. Nothing happening means you were right, and the operation worked. Nothing happening is also completely indistinguishable to the outside world from nothing having been a threat at all. You understand now why this work produces no heroes. A prevented catastrophe leaves no evidence of itself. It is the sound of something that didn't happen, invisible, unverifiable, uncelebrated. Your team is good. You make them better by doing the thing your first supervisor did for you. Handing them intercepts and saying, find the pattern. Then sitting with them while they find it or don't. and teaching them the difference between "I think it's nothing" and "I have confirmed it is nothing," which is the distance between negligence and precision. You are making $122,000. You move to a better apartment. It has 2 bedrooms. The second bedroom becomes an office because there is no one to put in it. You call your sister. She answers,
Hello?
which surprises you. The conversation is careful in the way that conversations become careful when too much time has passed, and neither person wants to name how much. You tell her you're well. You tell her work is demanding. You tell her you'll visit soon. You both know what soon means by now. Level 6, the section chief. You stop reading intercepts directly. This is the thing nobody tells you about promotion. At a certain level, the raw intelligence stops landing on your desk and starts arriving pre-digested, summarized, filtered through the analytical judgment of the people below you. You are no longer the one finding the pattern. You are the one deciding whose pattern to trust. It is a different skill entirely, harder in ways that don't show. You oversee 4 teams now, 26 analysts covering networks across the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. You spend your days in back-to-back briefings, reviewing finished intelligence products, making resourcing decisions that determine which threats get deep coverage and which get monitored at surface level, because there are only so many analysts, and the threats are not finite. You make a call in October that deprioritizes coverage on a network your instinct says is dormant. 3 months later, the network activates. The operation is disrupted by a partner agency, not yours. The after-action review is careful to note that coverage gaps contributed to delayed detection. You write the section's response to the review. You take institutional responsibility in language that is precise and complete and protects your analysts from consequences that belong at your level. You do not sleep well for a month. Nobody dies. This time, you understand now that section chief is not a reward. It is a transfer of liability. Every decision made below you is ultimately a decision you made by creating the conditions in which it was possible. You are making $148,000. You see a therapist every 2 weeks, a woman who has clearance, which means she knows enough context to be useful, but is professionally obligated to hold it. You tell her about the coverage gap. She asks how you're sleeping. You tell her 4 to 5 hours. She writes something down. You both know 4 to 5 hours is not enough, and both know you are not going to change it. Level 7, the deputy director. The 7th floor is quieter than you expected. Not peaceful. Quiet in the way that spaces become quiet when the people inside them have stopped explaining themselves to anyone. At this level, the work is no longer analytical. It is political. You are not reading threats. You are managing the institution that reads them. Its budget, its relationships with congressional oversight, its coordination with 17 partner agencies whose priorities only partially align with yours. You testify before a closed Senate committee. You answer questions in the careful language of someone simultaneously obligated to inform and forbidden to endanger. The senators are not stupid. They understand what your non-answers contain. This is a performance both sides have agreed to perform. You are responsible for the analytical product that reaches the president's daily brief. Every morning before 6 a.m., something your division produced is read by the most powerful person in the world. That person will make decisions based on it. You will not be in the room. You are the last filter before intelligence becomes policy. The translation between raw uncertainty and the clean confidence required by the people who act on it. That is your entire job now. A young analyst on your floor reminds you of yourself at 23. Sharp, certain, still capable of surprise. You think about telling her something useful. You never find the words that are both true and kind. You're making $176,000. You have not cooked a meal in 4 months. You have not read a novel in 2 years. You have not watered a plant since the one that died in your first apartment. So long ago, it feels like it happened to someone you used to know. Level 8, the director. The office has a window. 27 years of windowless rooms, and this strikes you as almost absurd. You can see the Potomac from here. On clear mornings, it catches the light in a way that looks almost peaceful. You have spent your entire career in rooms designed to have no connection to the outside world. And now, the outside world is right there, through glass, indifferent to everything happening on your side of it. You are the Director of Counterterrorism Analysis. The title is clean. The reality beneath it is not. You run the entire division, hundreds of analysts across 12 units, a budget that requires congressional justification you deliver in language carefully stripped of the details that would actually justify it. A 30-year institutional memory that lives partly in classified archives and partly in you, in the specific weight of everything you have read and cannot unread, everyone you have assessed and cannot unassess, every call you made that was right and everyone that wasn't. You brief the president on Tuesday mornings, 7 minutes. You choose every word the night before, sitting alone at your kitchen table at midnight, weighing precision against what 7 minutes can hold. You have learned to translate the full complexity of a threat landscape into language that produces decisions rather than paralysis. It is the hardest writing you have ever done. It will never be published. It will never be attributed. By Wednesday, it will be classified at a level that ensures almost no one alive will read it in your lifetime. You are the most informed person in the world about catastrophes the world will never know were prevented. The operations that succeeded leave no public trace. The threat that didn't materialize looks, from the outside, like nothing happened. You have spent 27 years producing nothing that anyone can see. You are also the person who signs the formal notifications when prevention fails. You have signed 4. Each one tells a family, in careful institutional language, that someone they loved died in service of a mission that cannot be named in the notifications itself. You wrote the first one by hand before the protocol was formalized. You don't know why. It seemed important that a human hand did it. There is a wall in a corridor you pass every morning. No names, just stars carved into marble. Each one a person who came to a building like this, believed in something, and did not come back. You know the stories behind some of them. Not all. Nobody knows all of them. That is by design and also somehow the loneliest thing about this place. You stop in front of the wall every morning. 30 seconds. Long enough to remember that the institution is not the mission. The people were the mission. The institution is just what remains after them. The reckoning. You retire on a Friday in October. Small ceremony. Closed room. 14 people who represent everything you built over 3 decades. Unit chiefs, long-serving analysts, 2 people from partner agencies who flew in without being asked. Your deputy gives a short speech that is careful and accurate and says nothing that could appear in any public record. You receive a commendation that will live in a classified file. You shake hands. You accept a challenge coin from a team that has worked for you for 9 years and whose work has never appeared in a newspaper and never will. You drive yourself home. You decline the car. The apartment is quiet in the way it has always been quiet. The silence of a space lived in alone for a long time that has stopped apologizing for it. The second bedroom is still an office. The kitchen table has a coffee ring stain from a mug you set down carelessly last winter and never addressed because there was always something more urgent. You sit at the table. For the first time in 27 years, there is nothing required of you. No brief to prepare, no assessment to review, no decision waiting in your inbox that will affect people in countries you have never visited, in languages you don't speak. Just the table, the coffee ring, the quiet. You think about the intercept from your first week, the one you flagged at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, the one that became an operation whose outcome you were never told. You have thought about it periodically for 27 years, not obsessively, just the way certain unresolved things resurface when the mind finally has space to move. Whether you read it right, you still don't know. You have spent your entire career making decisions under incomplete information at speed, with consequences you could never fully trace. You have been right more than wrong. The math, in aggregate, points somewhere meaningful. You have to believe that. But the intercept from the first week, that specific uncertainty, you have kept it. Not as a wound, as a reminder that the work was never about certainty. It was about doing the most rigorous possible thing with what you had, and then living with the distance between that and perfect. You get up, you fill a glass of water, you stand at the kitchen window and look at the street below, ordinary, unhurried, full of people moving through their Tuesday afternoon with no knowledge of the machinery that exists to keep that ordinariness intact. You think, I was part of that machinery for 30 years. You think, nobody down there will ever know. You think that was always the point. You finish the water, you set the glass in the sink. Tomorrow you will figure out what comes next. Tonight it is enough to have done the work, carried what it cost, and made it to a kitchen window on a quiet Tuesday with the world still turning outside it. Some things don't get monuments. They just get to have been real.